Hi there, my name's John. If you've not visited my channel before, welcome. This is going to be a video about getting into clay pigeon shooting. So if you've not done any shooting before, I'm going to be going at quite a basic level of information. Some people who've done it before, then it might not be the video for you. Okay. So in order to even consider doing shotgun shooting, you can just go and have a go at a clay shooting ground and just see if you like it. That's probably a good idea before you make a big investment and take all the time of getting a license, etc. Go and have a go. If you know somebody else who's doing it, tag along with them, go and have a look. There are plenty of clubs about. It's worth shopping around though to find one with a decent price. Quite lucky, I'm in the northwest in Manchester, so there are quite a few places around the area where you can go. Okay, so the first thing you're going to need to do is apply for a license once you've had a go and you decided it's for you. The licensing can take a while in some regions. Manchester was quite slow at one point, but I think they've sort of speeded it up a bit now. What happened was you used to get a license and then each 5 years you just renew it, and they weren't doing the checks that they should, and now they do. Basically, you've got to be in contact with the doctor, make sure you've got no mental health issues that are a problem. They look at your criminal record, etc. Now, when it comes to your doctor, your own doctor will charge you, if they'll do it, they'll charge a fortune for doing the paperwork for you. There are people online who will do this remotely. That allows you give them permission to access your medical records. They do a report and send everything off for you, etc. So it's really, really quick using that service, and it's not that expensive. Maybe £50, £40, £50 you'll pay for that. Your own doctor might charge you, if you wanted just a medical, about £150. So eventually you get your license. Okay. Now, in order to get the license, they're going to come and inspect your property to see where you're going to keep the gun. Now, let's say you've not decided, you've not bought a cabinet yet, because at this stage you haven't been granted a license. So you can show them where you're going to put a cabinet and tell them the design that you're going to get, and that can be checked later before the full license is issued. So once you get your license, look after it. I keep mine locked away because I don't want somebody getting hold of it and forging it, changing names or changing the picture, and then going buying a gun in my name. So that's the licensing side. Go online, there's plenty of information. Whilst you're applying for the license, if you've got any queries or questions about the standard of cabinet or how to mount it or where to place it, the website that the police will have is very, very helpful. Or you can just send them an email. They are really, really good people. And you'll find when they do come out to do the inspections, they'll give you the best advice that they can. Okay, so once you've done that, once you decide it's for you, once you've applied for your license, then you're going to need to start looking at the other things you might need before you can do shooting. Now, even before you can go to a playground, you're going to need things like goggles, hearing protection, etc. So it's a good idea to get that kind of, you can start shopping around for that kind of equipment and stuff. So then, let's go and have a look at a gun safe. So welcome to the gun room. And this is a gun safe. This has got a vaulted door. This is securely fixed to the wall with massive roll bolts. So, doors, you can see there, the door's quite thick. This is a locking mechanism or part of it. The bolts pop out, and also there are bolts around the door as well. In the top of the guns cupboard, there's a little, looks like an ammunition box there, but you wouldn't keep much in that. But really, you shouldn't keep your ammunition with your guns. As you can see, I've got a few guns. Some of them are air guns. Like this first one is one that's handy for vermin control, etc., as well as target shooting. That's quite a nice one. Then I've got a competition target gun. That's for the 10 metre discipline. I've also got a 10 metre pistol there, and at the back here is the shotgun. Okay. As you can see, nice looking gun. That's a Benton Solly, Italian made. There we go. What is important with your gun cabinet is that your keys are kept hidden. Ideally, only you should know where they are. Obviously, if you've got a spouse or something, you might want to let them know. But yeah, don't tell everybody where your keys are hidden. Right now, I've took the gun out, put the cabinet up, keys will go in my pocket so that gets locked away again. Okay, so let's look first of all at the safety equipment. So probably the most obvious one that you'll need is something to protect your ears. Guns make a big bang. You can get little earplugs that you roll up and they put them in your ears and they expand and they cut out the noise. They're brilliant. The only problem with them, if you've come shooting with somebody else, and generally you go shooting with other people, you might need to converse with them and you have to keep pulling your earplug out to hear what they're actually saying, which can be a bit of an issue. Now, a little bit of an investment is these. Now, these are handy for in your work life anyway, if you're doing any work at home, drilling and banging and doing stuff. Good ear protection is a good idea. And these take 2 AA batteries. These are about £40 on Amazon, I think. And this brand, this actual brand is Zohan, Z-O-H-A-N. Okay. And what these do, they cover your ears. And that gives you the sound protection that you need. Okay. Just literally without any batteries or anything like that, just pop them on. And that is enough sound protection for when you fire your gun. Okay. But these have got microphones on them, a little volume button. You can actually plug music into these as well. You've got a little roll switch there. And what happens is, that's muffling all the sound. But the microphones will pick up on voices. So if I've left my head protection on, I can talk to people near me because the microphone picks up on the sound. Quite a few people have got similar equipment to this. Some, you have to get some specially moulded earplugs, and in the middle is a little pip that you can pull out to talk and listen. But these, when a shotgun fires, and it mutes the mic for a split second, so you're not hearing the crack of the gun through the headphones either. But these are brilliant. They're absolutely fabulous because you can talk to people, do your shooting, you don't have to take them off, you can just leave them on. And they're brilliant. And they're really comfortable as well. So, ear protection, whichever route you decide to go, vital. Okay, that's those. Okay. So then the next thing is eye protection. Shooting, you're shooting at clays, things that are coming above you, towards you. If you crack a clay and it explodes into many pieces, or one somebody else hits and it comes flying at you, protect your eyes. Okay. You can go with very basic. If you don't wear glasses, you can just get a cheap set of goggles like that. They'll do. You can spend a lot of money on eye protection. You can spend a couple of £100. But these are great. If you wear glasses, you can buy these that'll go over glasses. They're about £7 or £8 or something like that. You've got some slightly lighter weight ones. Again, they've got the side protection as well. They just look like normal glasses. Okay, and again, not very expensive, very lightweight, and they do come up to the British standard. Not sure what British standard it is. Well, it'd be CE marks or British standard on them. Okay. Then the next stage you can go to is, if you go to somewhere like Asda Opticians, these are prescription safety glasses. Okay, lightweight plastic, you can have them done varifocal, whatever else you need, and they're quite a comfortable fit, and obviously you've got your prescription ground into them as well. So they're £80. Some people have glasses with different coloured filters on, because to stand off against the sky so you see the clay better. But again, this is something that you can advance to as you develop in the sport. Now, another handy thing to have, like I mentioned then, stuff can be flying at you or towards you. A lot of people you see wear a hat. This is a typical shooter's hat, something like that, a flat cap, and it does the job. The other thing it does, it's got a brim on it. You can wear a baseball cap and it can just shield you from the sun if you're shooting towards or near the sun, so that can just take a bit of the light out. So you start to get quite involved then now if you've got your hat on, your goggles on, and your headphones. Okay, that's quite a lot of stuff on, but there you go. But that makes you safe. That's the important thing, right? Now, the safety side of this is the all-important thing. At shooting grounds, when you stand up to the stall, the bit where you stand in to do your shooting, it's like a framework around you, and you could only move so far with the gun before you hit the wood. And that's enough where you need to be to shoot your target. What they discourage you doing, once you've loaded your gun, you do not talk to somebody, because you might turn round, you've got a gun, you're moving around waving a gun about. So it's always discouraged that once you step up to that stall, the only thing you're going to do is shout pull, and they set the clays off. So it's all about safety. So that's the safety gear. Then you've got other apparel, clothing, etc. It's not just fashionable to wear this for shooting, it's practical. This is a percussion vest, some people call them. There's different names people have for these. It's got padding on the front part of it. It's for where the gun might sit, the butt might sit against your body. Okay, and it's like a mesh. You can see through that. It's like a mesh, so it keeps you nice and cool if you're using this in summer. And it's a good idea. I'll show you why. What's handy with it is it's got these huge pockets, massive pockets here. There's 2 of them there, 2 on that side. There's even 2 on the back. And these pockets have been designed to carry these. That is a case of 25 shotgun cartridges. If I pop them in that pocket, pop another box in that pocket, there you go. For a 50 bird shoot, I've got enough shells with me now, and I can just reach in my pocket and pull out, because you obviously leave the box open in your pocket, so you can quickly reach in, pull out cartridges. Okay, very, very simple. So it's a great design, and it does the job. Now, you could probably, if you're going on a big shoot, I mean, you could put cartridges in the back, bottles of drink, all kinds. So that might be, depending where you go, you might get them on eBay for 15 or £20. In a gun shop, might be somewhere £50 or whatever. Okay. So yeah, the prices can go up. For winter time though, you'll need a coat. And this is a typical shooting coat with like an imitation moleskin collar. You can hear it's a bit rustly. It's actually got a plastic lining. This is a rainproof or waterproof coat. The fabric will get wet on the outside, but it shouldn't soak through. And these are very warm coats. And again, they've got some good features. Now, these can cost you north of £200 if you go to an expensive gun shop. I got mine from a local wholesaler in Salford for £70. So I was pretty lucky with that. So it's worth shopping around. So I'll pop this on. I'll just pop the cartridges in that pocket there, which will fit in. So you've got your cartridge pocket. Above it, you've got a hand pocket to keep your hands warm. But in there, there's a little tag there. Can you see that? And what that's for, the button on it, you just click it on there, and that holds your pocket open. So you can reach in, grab your cartridges easily. You don't have to keep opening your pocket. So for speed, for a reload, if you're out doing a bit of bird shooting or something like that, rough shooting, then you can quickly grab cartridges out. So that's a really handy idea. Okay. So that is a coat. That should keep you nice and toasty warm in winter. You can buy gloves, and you get gloves where the trigger finger, you roll it back and over on itself, so your finger is free, just your finger on the trigger, so you're not touching your trigger with a glove, which you might not get the feel of it the same. So people like those. So again, you can get yourself some gloves. Okay, so that's the bits and bobs, the peripheral bits and bobs. When you buy a gun, it's probably going to come in a hard case like this, or it might come in a hard case like this. But to put it in there, you have to break the gun down, take the barrel off, etc. So it's not really convenient if you want to grab your gun and go out on a shoot. So the gun was in it when I got it, and it will stay out of that until if I ever sell it. What is really handy is a gun slip, one of these. Okay. These maybe £20, so you pop your gun in that, and as long as that'll fit in your car, one of my cars, it won't go in. But yeah, so I put the gun in that, and that protects it, keeps the weather off it, and you can also hang it up when you get to the place where you're going to be shooting if you're not going straight out. So yeah, nice bit of kit. I've actually wrote my name on this one because so many people have similar ones. You can actually see which is mine. Okay. So when it comes to choosing a gun, you can buy second hand, and there are some good second hand deals out there, and you can buy new. With a brand new gun, you're looking at somewhere around £450 for a brand new gun. That could be a Turkish made gun, reasonable quality. The first shotgun I bought was a Webley & Scott, which sounds like a British make. I believe that they made somewhere abroad. Again, it could be made in Turkey or somewhere. So it's Webley & Scott. I bought it from a shop in the Midlands called Solway. You probably see them advertised. They are brilliant, really, really nice place. You walk in that shop and nobody's mithering you. They don't come up to you mithering you. They'll just leave you to have a look round. If you ask for attention, then yes, they will deal with you. And what really got me is when they got out the bourbon biscuits and give me a cup of tea. They are really, really good to deal with. So I bought this gun, I took it, and when I first had a go of it, only one barrel was working, one firing pin wasn't working properly. I phoned them up and immediately told me to take it into a gun shop near my home in Manchester, and they took it, sent it off to the manufacturer, who wrote it off, and immediately Solway said, I'll give you a refund. And I said, no, keep all the money, I'll come back down, I'll get a different gun. Okay. So I went back and I added a little bit to it, as you're bound to do when you're looking at guns. And I bought a Bettin Solly, which is on that one there. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's Italian made. And you're looking at around about £1,200 for one of these. I'll say £9 to £1,300 because they vary depending on other factors. There's slight variations in the models. This is the Omega S, and it also can vary in the stock, the actual wood of the grip. If it's a really, really good one, it can attract a premium. Okay, so this is the one I bought. Now, if you're new to shotgun shooting, you've probably seen things like Only Fools and Horses, and when they're pointing a shotgun at you, you'll see it's something like that way, a side-by-side barrel. Well, these, when you're holding it in its normal position, it's that, one barrel above the other. Okay, so it's an over-under design, or under-over design, whichever way you want to say it, doesn't matter. One barrel's above the other. Okay, now this is better for what we're going to do. It's better for aim purposes. The other bits and bobs as well on it. Let's just go through the parts of the gun anyway. So we have here the butt. This here has got a silicone butt pad, which is quite squashy and comfortable. We've then got the stock itself. Okay, and these, you get different grades of stock depending on the grain of the wood and how it looks, and some people like, you know, different patterns, and the grain patterns can be important. This one looks quite nice, I'm quite happy with it. More importantly, because the look of that makes no difference at all to how it shoots, we've got this very grippy diamond pattern on here. Okay, and what you're looking for in a gun is that is nice and sharp. It's a nice nice grippy pattern. No, it's not too weak, it's not done so thin that you don't get a good grip. When you fire a shotgun, it's quite a bang, it's quite a jolt that it gives, and you want to keep a good grip of it. So that's important, and it could be raining or something as well. So then we've got the what's called the action, which is this part, this silver part here. That's the bit that's the business end of the gun, that where the triggers and the firing pins, everything else is held in there. Then you've got the fore end of the gun here, the foregrip. And this little shape here, this little curved off bit, I believe is called a schnabel. But anyway, we've got a strengthening bar down the gun here. The two barrels are fixed together. Okay. Under here, there's a little lever, which you pull that, this piece of wood comes off. You can bend the gun then, and it'll actually come into pieces, 3 pieces. Okay. This top lever here opens the gun, and this one here is the safety switch. Now, that also can swap round which barrel fires first, top or bottom. I'm not going to go into too much detail on that. Now, this gun is quite nicely engraved, as you can see. It's even got gold inlay there. Top as well, even the little lever there has got nice engraving on it. On the underside, all nicely engraved and inlaid. Even that's got nice engraving on it. None of that makes any difference to how it shoots. It's even got a gold trigger. That doesn't affect the way it shoots, okay? It's just decorative. It's a very pretty looking gun, that's why I liked it. And everything about it, it just felt nice. This is a 32-inch barrel, I think. You've got varying barrels between about 28 and 32 inches. Some people make great fuss about how long the barrel is. It doesn't make a fantastic difference to what you're shooting and how you're shooting. Okay, so the action being it's an alloy action on this, and that's why this gun is a cheaper gun. You might get something like a Beretta where it's got steel action. It'll be a lot longer, a lot more hard wearing. If you're shooting a hell of a lot, that'll make a difference. For the amount the average hobbyist shoots, this is fine. Okay. And like I say, you could probably buy one of these second hand, maybe £600–700. I don't know what they go for second hand, but they're not that expensive second hand. But do buy from a reputable dealer if you can, because then you can make sure it's in good condition before you buy it. Okay. Another thing you'll need, apart from buying the gun, is there's things called snap caps. If you've left the gun straight like this, then it's cocked and ready to go, and you need to release the pressure off the springs on the firing mechanism, otherwise it's under pressure all the time. But if you pull the trigger without anything in the barrel, then it can damage the action itself. So what we're putting here is fake cartridges. They're called snap caps. Okay, because I've pulled the triggers on this, when I open the gun now, if I bend it to take them out, they're going to jump out, because normally when you're shooting, you you bend the gun, they go, ping out the two cartridges, put you next to, and then away you go. So I put my hand here to catch them, and they've just jumped back, and there they are. Two little springs on them, and you see some dimples in the ends of them where I've fired the mechanism off. Okay, so that's the hole, and these are the things here which will push out the cartridges, these two bits sticking out here. So if I put these in and then cock the gun, then if I was to fire the gun, I've only done one, just pulled the trigger once. So if I wanted to reload now, what will happen now is only one of those will pop out. It's just the one that's fired, the top barrel. Okay. If I was to do click, click, see how quick that happened, bang, bang, I can do it really quickly, then that's both have fired. Now that's important, that, how quickly those have just fired. I'll explain to you why now. Some people will go out and buy a pump action gun. Now sometimes you'll be doing skeet shooting where one clay comes from one side, one comes from the other, and you're going to go bump, bump very quickly. You won't have time to go bump, bump. Takes too long. The other thing is, when you're walking around a clay shooting ground with a pump action, nobody can see if your gun's safe. If I'm carrying this gun now, it's broken, as I say, it's like that in that position, and it's empty. It's absolutely impossible for that to fire anything at this point. So this gun is safe, absolutely safe. Okay, even empty, we keep it pointing downwards. Okay, simple as that. Keep it pointing downwards. Now, the safety catch, all the safety catch does is disable the trigger from being able to fire the gun. It doesn't disable the firing pin. So if you were to fall over with a gun loaded, yeah, that was to snap shut and it bashes against the ground, it could fire. So, safe gun, unsafe gun with cartridges in. All right, very simple. They'll teach you all this anyway when you go and have a lesson. So that is the basics of the gun itself. So I'll put that back together now, back ready for storage. Click, click. Ready to go back in its bag or back in the cupboard. Okay. Okay. So another thing you've got to look at is on the end of the gun we have what's called chokes. Okay. And that's these pieces here, the inner part of that, can you see there's like an inner ring? Okay, and what that is some of these here. I got 5 with this gun, and these are numbered. If you look on the end, there's 3 notches there, 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's the number 3 choke. I've got there the number 5 choke and the number 1. So number 1 choke is the most choke, that's the number 1. That's the thickest wall. That's going to concentrate the shot in a much tighter spread pattern than the number 5. Okay. Got to be careful we don't over tighten these. We use this tool to take them in and out. It's very simple. Look there, I pop that on there. Oops, can you see that? Pop that on there, give it a twist. There we go. And out it comes. It's quite a long thread, it takes a while to come out. You see it's coming out there now. Putting it back in, spin it in, and you literally all you have to do is just nip it up a little bit. There's no forces on that making it turn. Okay. Again, there'll be plenty of videos on the best way to tune your gun, etc. Which barrel's best to go off first, some do the top, some do the bottom. You've got that option. Okay, so that's your chokes. They should come with the gun. It maybe you can buy extra ones, etc. But these come in a nice, bet and solid case. Okay. Then cartridges. They come in boxes of 25. If you go and buy 500, don't think you're carrying them out to the car in one hand in a carrier bag. You're not. They're dead heavy. Okay. You have to make sure you get the right cartridges for your gun. You can ask about that when you're buying your gun. The cartridge length, it might say on it 75mm or 70mm, it says on this one. But you might measure it and think, oh, that's not 70mm long, but it's referring to once you've fired it, that the little, there's the bit that's folded over the plastic, that opens out into the bore. And there's a little area in the barrel for it to fold out into. And if that's the wrong one, if it's too long, then it's not going to be good for you. Okay. There's different types of cartridge, and you can look them up online. There's usually a chart you can see, and it tells you the feet per second. It'll tell you how fast the cartridge is. Okay. And some people like faster cartridges, etc. Now, when we say fast, I mean we're talking 1400 feet per second the shot's going to come out the gun at. Which means you're not aiming directly at the clay, you're aiming where you think it's going to be by the time the shot gets there. So you have like a lead in, you're going ahead of the clay. It takes some getting used to. Now, what a lot of people do as well, when they get a gun, they aim and they close one eye and they look down the barrel. And on the end of this barrel, there's a red dot. But you keep both eyes open, because we're looking to see where the clay is. We're also trying to spot the next clay if there's two going at once. With one eye open, it's not going to work very well. The other one is just try, put your finger up, close one eye, then open it, close the other one. And then your finger looks like it's moving like that. With both eyes open, you've got a better idea of exactly where the gun's pointing. So again, something will train you up to do. Okay, but you're not doing a one eye closed aiming like something like that. Okay. Now, because I'm on camera, that's the only time you should ever see a gun pointing directly at you. Okay. So cartridges, these can cost you £9 for a box of 25, or if you buy 500, it'll cost you about £160. So there is a saving for buying the 500s. At a gun club, they might charge you a little bit more. What does it cost you to actually go shooting? In Manchester, we've got a few places. One of them, if I go and do what they call a 50 bird shoot, that's where you get 50 clays to shoot at. That's like 20 quid if you're a non-member. It'd be about 15 if you're a member, and it'll be £40 for 100. They give you it's like a credit card they use at this place, and then puts it in the machines that fire the clays. They give you 110 if you pay for 100. And the reason why, some are what they call no birds. As it's coming out, it breaks up the clay, so you can't shoot it. Some places just go on trust. You pay for your 100 clays, and if you have to do 110 to get your 100, that's fine, or your 50. So there's different methods at different places. Some of the memberships are really cheap, some are expensive. Shop around, ask about, join a forum, find out what's going on. So that is the very basics of clay shooting and the equipment. And this is just one gun. I'm not recommending anyone to buy this, although I found this very good. You might want to treat yourself and go and get yourself a Beretta at 2,000 quid, 2,200 quid for a basic Beretta. Or you might want to just go in a shop and see what they've got second hand. You might have a trade-in or something like that. Don't get yourself a side-by-side shotgun. It won't be any good for clay shooting. It'll work, but it's not as good. They're very lightweight guns. They're made for carrying around. You can carry them around all day. This is a sporting gun, so it is lighter than some. And sometimes people, if they're out in the countryside shooting, they get ones with shorter barrels. Again, it's just easier to carry. The difference between a very expensive gun and a cheap one might be the action, as I mentioned before, and the finish. Where the bit of wood comes to the metal is a tiny, tiny lip, you know, and some people don't like that. Where I pull this lever here, it's quite sharp, the end of that. It needs rounding off a little bit better. So some of the finish isn't quite as good. Just one little bit of information about the gun we use. The most common one is the 12 bore. You've heard probably lots of 12 bore double barrel shotgun. Yeah, why is it a 12 bore? I always thought it was something to do with the size of the bore, and it's more to do with the cartridge size. If you're a lightweight, you're not very big, or you don't want such a big kick, females generally use a different gun. You get a 16 bore and you get a 20 bore. You would think a 20 bore would be bigger than a 12 bore, but it's not, because it comes from, very simply, the 12 bore is 1/12 of a pound in the cartridge, 1/12 of a pound. Okay, a 20 bore will be 1/20th of a pound. Hence, the bigger the number, the smaller the cartridge, the smaller the barrel, and that is where it comes from. So that is the how the sizing works. Now, don't be shy of using a smaller gun. The distances we're shooting, it's going to still be effective. It's going to do the job you need it to do. And then maybe as you get better with it, or as you progress, then maybe you might move up and get something bigger. So that's basically it. When you first go to have a trial, have a lesson, which you should do, they'll give you a good idea what you need to do, and also whether you need a left or right-handed gun. Now, you might think because you're right-handed, you want a right-handed gun. They'll look at your dominant eye. Now, it doesn't make any difference pulling a trigger with that finger or with that finger. It's just pulling a trigger. It's that or that. Okay? Your dominant eye is the most important thing when you're sighting down the line where you want to shoot. So they'll do a little test with you by holding your finger up and close one eye, close it, and it looks like your finger's moving. But they'll better work out which is your dominant eye, a little thing that they look through. Okay, trust them. They'll know the right way to do it. They'll set you up. Usually when you go for your lesson, you'll be using quite an expensive gun. Usually these instructors will be using their own gun, so you'll have a decent one to start with. So, any questions? Don't be afraid to ask. There's plenty of information online. You can always ask me. If you like this video, please like and share it. Leave comments. I'll always answer any comments you make. And I do hope you enjoy it. Might see you sometime on a clay shooting ground, etc. If you do subscribe, then any more videos I do in this subject area, you'll get to see them fairly quickly. You might notice that my channel is quite eclectic. There's quite a lot of different things on there. So do enjoy. Thanks for watching, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.